Hello, everybody. It is Thursday. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you for being on with us. Welcome to the Get Fit with Me, expanding your physical and mental fitness group. This group is for individuals who are ready to expand both their physical and mental fitness while helping and supporting others with similar goals all along the way. It is a new year, which means a new time. So, as you guys who have been in the group for a while, we used to meet at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we are now meeting at noon. I'm hoping that for all you Eastern side of the Eastern Standard Time people, we'll get a better time zone. I was finding that later in the day, we were hitting more time zones, but the lunchtime is a really good time to be here and to take 30 to 40 minutes of your day to expand your physical and mental fitness. So every week we go live in this group. If you click that little Zoom link above this in Facebook, you are going to be able to jump on the call with us. That is where you get the most out of these calls, is by being live. You get to ask questions, you get individual help, you get to just be part of the conversation and get so much more out of it. If you are on Facebook and you're not able to click that link, make sure that you drop hashtag live or hashtag replay in the comments and let me know that you are there and that you are watching. And any questions that I ask throughout, participate in the chat as if you are live with us. So before we get into any of it, I like to give a shout out to our new members in the group. We have Jody with us this week. Congratulations on being a new member in this group. I'm super excited to have you. I have a feeling I know who referred you in, so thank you to them as well. As we move it through today, we're going to be talking about goal setting and a different approach. So some of you have had goal setting calls with me this week, and we've already set you up for your goals for 2022, and we've used this approach. If you have not and you want to do this goal setting call and you want to do it one-on-one, drop goal in the comments and you and I will have a one-on-one personal goal setting conversation together. I'm going to give you guys the structure and we're going to work through it today. But if we go one-on-one, we're going to be able to go a little bit more in depth. So drop goal setting in the comments if you guys want a one-on-one call for goal setting. So now that we have two people on the call, I would like you guys to go around and I want to know who you are, where you're from, and do you normally set goals for yourself? And Jennifer, we'll start with you. Hello.
Hello. I'm in office cubicle, so I'm going to do through chat and just send messages.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yes, drop it in the chat and I will read it off. Okay. So Lynn, are you able to talk? And if so, unmute, and do you mind telling us who you are, where you're from, and do you set New Year's resolutions or goals? And if you're not on a spot to talk, just add it in the chat as well. I see we have Danielle over there in Facebook Live right now. Danielle is from Washington and she loves goal setting. So I used to hate goal setting. I didn't like it because in the past, my goals for the year were this long list, and it was things like get stronger, get more clients, eat healthier, drink water, lose weight. They were all very vague and they were not able to, I wasn't able to track them. I just created a list of all the things I wanted to do that year with no intention behind it. And we can all probably agree that we've done that at some point. That we've created this list without any intention or any actionables behind it. So then down the line, you learn, okay, for a goal to work, it's got to be a SMART goal. It's got to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and either timely or trackable. So I started, the longer I've been setting goals, the easier it gets and the more in depth I go. So I started creating goals that were SMART goals. I'd set the goals and they would be things like, I am going to exercise 3 times a week, and I'm going to exercise 3 times a week, and I'm going to do this by scheduling it on my calendar. So I was able to be specific about it. The problem was I was never able to keep up on it. I'd write that goal, I'd put it in the notebook, or I'd write it on a sticky note, and then I'd completely forget about it. I'd forget about what that goal was until the end of the year comes around. And I'm like, okay, haven't done that. Let's try again this year. And then when I started to, over the last 2 years, really is when I started to really dial in on the perfect system that I have found that works. I'm going to share that with you guys. I see we have some stuff in the chat, so I'm going to read that off. Jen is from DeWitt/St. John's. I like goals. However, I feel like I can end up with failure feeling. I set goals, but sometimes the best goal is to just do better, eat better than I did yesterday, work out a few minutes more than yesterday, etc. I like that. Do better, just even a little bit day after day. And I'm going to pull that concept into what I'm going to teach you guys today. If you have a sheet of paper or you're able to take notes, go grab it. We are going to be working through one of your goals here so that you kind of have a baseline. So there are 4 steps to creating a goal. When the new year starts, we have this big New Year's goal. And that goal, like I said, could be, I want to lose 30 pounds by the end of the year. It's going to be my example. Well, if I just make that goal, I have no way of actually reaching that. I haven't figured out what I have to do to reach that. I haven't figured out what are the small pieces that all add up to those 30 pounds. So I first want you guys to take a few minutes. I'm going to set a timer. We're going to do about 1 minute here. I want you to jot down what are some of your goals that you want to achieve this year. And we're only going to focus on one here, but I want you to create that list. They can be personal, they can be professional, they can be mental fitness, they can be physical fitness. Kind of just create that list for yourself, and then we'll dive deeper into step 2. And as I'm going to set my timer, and as you guys are thinking of your list, I'm going to name off some examples here. So ones that I have seen frequently are, I want to lose X amount of weight by the end of the year. I want to work out X amount of times throughout the year. I want to declutter my house. I want to read X amount of books or listen to X amount of books this year. I want to learn a new skill, whether it be woodworking, gardening, tech skills, something for work. You want to learn something new. You want to learn how to become a better version of yourself. I've heard a lot of people say that that's what they want to do this year. And it's hard to use some of these goals that don't have numbers behind it, but it's totally possible. So just jot down a few goals that you have that for this year that come to mind. And this list, like I said, can be endless. Ooh, Danielle has a good one. Less time on social media. Heard 2 people talk about that this year. Social media is something that consumes us. Okay, so once you have your list, we're going to move on to step 2. So step 1 is figuring out what your big goal is. Step 2 is now taking that big goal and making it a monthly goal. So I'm going to use the example of I want to lose 30 pounds because it is something that there is a number behind it, and it's going to be easier to explain the system this way. Jennifer says, just get healthier, cut refined sugar out of my diet. Sugar addiction is horrible. Get fit, back to my running and strength training, 20 minutes of cardio daily. Love those. I love that you have the 20 minutes of cardio daily. You have really made how long do you want to be doing the thing? That's super important to have that number in there so that we can measure. Did we actually do it for 20 minutes or not? So in step 2, we break it down into 1 month at a time. And I want you to choose one of these from your list. If you have something that has a time behind it. So Danielle, less time on social media. How much time do you want to spend on social media? How much do you spend now per day, per week, per month would you anticipate? And what would you like to spend? So Jennifer, for you, I want you to think about any of those. You can use your 20-minute cardio because there's a number behind it, or we can use one of the other ones. Type in the chat and just let me know which one you want to work through, and we can work through it here. And we'll take you through step number 2. So step number 2, we want to look at that big goal and break it down into a monthly goal. I want to lose 30 pounds by the end of the year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 30 pounds and I'm going to divide it by 12. And that is going to tell me that each month I need to be losing 2.5 pounds. When I lose 2.5 pounds, that is going to allow me to reach that goal of losing 30 pounds in the year. I know the number that I need to have to get to that 30-pound big goal at the end of the year. 2.5 pounds a month is so much more manageable to wrap my head around than 30 pounds over the course of the year. For me, 20 minutes of cardio. This will in turn help with my sugar addiction. Love it. So 20 minutes of cardio, that right there, this is where math comes in, and I am not great at mental math. So every day you said we have 20 times 365. So you are going to be doing 7,300 minutes of cardio over the course of the year. That will be your big goal if you look at it that way. Your daily goal will come down to the 20 minutes. So you have our 7,300 minutes of cardio you're going to do in the year. Then we're going to break that down into months. So you're going to have 608 minutes of cardio in a month. From there, we then get to break it down into weeks. So then you get to divide that by 4, and you'll do 152 minutes of cardio a week. And then you have your 20 minutes of cardio a day. Life happens. You may not get your 20 minutes in the one day, but you may be able to get 40 in the next day. So you still get that flexibility of getting your 152 minutes in, but it could be a longer one day and shorter the next. The one thing I love about this is it gives you the flexibility of having this goal, but knowing that we can flex that time when life shows up, because it's going to. If it doesn't this year, let me know, because I think it already has for me, and it's only day 5. So, Jean, I see you are here. Are you able to talk? And if so, can you introduce who you are and if you are somebody who sets goals for the new year?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
I'm here. I'm trying to eat my lunch I have 10 minutes to go. So, yeah, I would say no, I don't. I don't set goals just because I feel like some people set such lofty goals. I'm kind of like trying to just manage things 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time. So I would say, no, I'm probably not like a long-term fitness, because I feel like before the start of the year, I've already accomplished a goal. So I'm happy to just stick with it, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think knowing that each day, so you kind of sound like you fall into when Jennifer said, I just want to do better than I did the day before. You know what you're doing well, and you just want to do a little bit better than you did the day before. It's important to have a broad idea of where you want to go and to know where we came from. And it sounds like, and I know we've worked together, that you have an idea of where you've been and where you want to go long term. And right now you're doing a good job of keeping those steps in play without implementing this system. And that's okay. But if you're looking for something specific, so as you listen and you're like, oh, I have that goal, I really want to do that, this would be a good way to implement it. And I'm going to show you guys a few examples later. One of them is a personal goal and one is a professional goal. And you'll see how this fits for both areas. So step 2, now that we have broken it into that month goal. So in that month, I need to lose 2.5 pounds. Great. Still, how the heck am I going to do that? Well, let's break it up even smaller, because when it comes to numbers, the smaller the better. If you've ever been on a treadmill and you're like, I'm only going for 10 minutes, that's 5 minutes. That's 2 minutes 10 times. And you break it down as small as you can to make it seem better for you. So when we break it up into weeks, we are going to have to lose 0.6 pounds a week. Okay, I think that seems pretty manageable. Now, what do we do to get to that? So step 1 is figuring out your yearly goal. Step 2 is your monthly goal. Step 3 is your weekly goal. Step 4 is to figure out what we have to do to reach that goal. So if I want to lose weight, I need to become more in tune with my food awareness. Maybe that means getting a food audit. Maybe that means tracking our food. Maybe it means more veggies. It's going to mean that you get better sleep. Your water is going to have to increase, especially if you are someone who has been struggling with water, and you're going to have to do some intentional movement. That all sounds overwhelming. That's a lot of things you have to do to get that weight down. So you pick one. Week 1, you pick, what am I going to work on? I'm going to work on my water. So week 1, your goal is to lose 0.6 pounds, and you're going to work on your water. Week 2 comes around and you reassess. How was my water last week? Was I able to keep up on that? No, water's your goal again. Until you are able to become consistent, you should not be adding a second thing. If you feel like you've got a good handle on the water after week 1, you can then add in something else. Maybe it's intentional movement for week 2. And maybe after week 2, you realize, okay, I can add a little bit more movement in. Slowly stacking the bricks week after week. The last part of this is you got to put it all on your calendar. So if your goal is so Jennifer, yours is 20 minutes of cardio every single day. I want you to open up your calendar, either now or after, depending on where it is. And I want you to put it on your calendar, same time every single day as reoccurring for an entire year. The way this works is it's on the calendar. You cannot delete it. You can move it. You can shift the time of the day at which you do it, and you can shift if you need to do 2 in one day. But the goal is to have that big goal that we can put on that calendar reoccurring for the entire year, that we can see on the calendar. Yep, I got to do this. Yep, I got to do this. And every day it is on that calendar that you see. If you're not a calendar person, I highly suggest you either get a paper one or you download Google Calendars. I will help you set that up. Super easy, and you get to color code it. If you're a color coding fan like I am, color coding is going to be, this is for myself. This is a non-negotiable. Anything you put on the calendar, whether it's your workouts, whether it's a reminder to track your water every day, maybe it's a reminder to go to bed at 9 o'clock. Whatever it is, make it a certain color and make it yours. Make it just for you. And it is a non-negotiable. It's that doctor's appointment that you don't want to call and cancel less than 24 hours in advance because you don't want to get charged. Those things for yourself are those things that you do that you will get a late charge if you don't show up. We don't want to pay money for something we didn't do. So put it on your calendar for an entire year. Okay, you said life happens, life gets in the way. You're right. So we are only focusing on 1 month at a time, even though we've scheduled all year round, the whole year, we're only focusing on 1 month. So when January is done, you are going to take time to look back. Did you complete all the workouts that week? Yes, I completed every single one. Did I do my water? No, I was struggling with that. Maybe that goal has to adjust for the next month, which means that yearly goal is going to adjust as the year goes on. So for some people I know, if you're trying to get 156 workouts in the year, maybe you hit that by August. Congrats. What's your goal for the next couple months? Or maybe you're struggling and it's going into November and you're like, I'm still 100 workouts off. What am I supposed to do? Look back at what the months were like. Think, what can I realistically get in and change that year goal so that when you get to December 2022 on the 31st, you can look back and say, I achieved that goal, even though I modified it because I achieved it. Rather than keeping a goal that is, you are going to change throughout the year, life is going to change, and everything around us is. So when we set something, 12 months later, 365 days later is a long time to do the same thing and expect to hit that big goal. It's okay if that goal adjusts throughout the year. So I'm going to see Danielle. She said, okay, for social media, 3 hours of intentional social media time. Right now, it's about 5. Perfect. Knowing where you were and where you want to be is perfect, especially with that social media, because we all of a sudden get to scrolling before we know it. Any questions before I show you guys kind of my setup, and then we're going to work through your guys's? Okay, I'm going to share my screen here if it's going to allow me. So this right here is one of my goals. This is my professional goal, because so if you guys know me, I'm not a huge reader. I really don't enjoy reading. It's not something that I am a huge fan of. I have this event that I'm going to in a few weeks, and after I signed up for it, I realized I was required to read a book before the event. So my year goal is to read 3 books, professional books, not listen, to actually read them. My January goal, because the event is in 19 days, is to read this book. Well, my book is 512 pages. I started it on the 4th, which I believe was Tuesday, which means I have to read 27 pages for the next 19 days. Which means in a week, I'm going to be reading 189 pages. So that's week 1, week 2, week 3. By week 3, that book will be finished because the event will have happened. So for week 4, I'm going to use that week to find a new book to start. And I'm going to do the same breakdown. How long do I want to take to finish book number 2? I'm going to break it down exactly how I just did for the shorter period of time. Last step I did is I scheduled it on my calendar, and I'm going to see if I can show you guys that as well. New share screen 2. So over here, I have read 30 pages. I upped it because I know I'm a slow reader and I'd rather be done with the book beforehand rather than be scrambling to finish it that morning. Read 30 pages, read 30 pages, read 30 pages, read 30 pages. I may not do this at 7 a.m. every morning because, as you see, I have conflicts, but I can move these. But it is on the day. So when I open up my calendar, it's there. I see I have that to do, and I can shift the time at which I do it. Let's go back, and I'm going to share my other goal that I have. So my other goal is to work out 156 times. And for this, the challenge for me, because every goal needs to have a little bit of riskiness or something behind it that's going to make you actually want, like, okay, this sounds exciting to reach and to strive for. So my goal is to work out 156 times, and it does not include the classes that I teach. So it has to be movement outside of my class teachings. I also wanted to challenge myself with a bonus 10 minutes of pure stretch once a week. So what that looks like is 156 a year, 12 workouts a month. They have to be at least 15 minutes, cardio and strength. So I got really specific on that. And then there's going to be 4 a month of 10-minute or more stretching. So now what I've done is week 1, week 2, week 3, I've looked at my calendar. They are the exact same day and time. So Monday, 5 a.m., Wednesday, 5 a.m., Thursday, 5 a.m., and then I have my stretch at 7 a.m. Friday. I've written this out. Week 4, I have Tuesday, 5 a.m., Wednesday, 5 a.m., Thursday, 5 a.m., and then Friday at 7 a.m. stretch. I had a conflict on Monday here, so I shifted it now pre the day coming up rather than seeing it on the day and realizing, crap, I just got home. I just got off a flight. It's not going to work. So I shifted that because I looked in advance. I prepared myself. Also in week 4, I'm going to take an hour to reflect on the month. What happened? What did I do? Did I do all the workouts? Did I have to shift the days a lot without realizing it? Was I doing more than 15 minutes? Was I only able to get in 5 or 10? What happened in that last month? So then I can look into February and see, okay, maybe these times have to change. Maybe the days have to change. Maybe I have to change the length or the type of workout I'm going to do. And then for my action, I added them to my calendar for repeating for the entire year, the days, the times, and I cannot delete them. So I don't know if you guys saw, but when I showed you my reading, I have workout with the type of workout I'm doing. I have workout with the type of workout with the type of workout, and then I have my stretch over here. Same thing, I can move it up and down if I don't actually do it at that time. For me, I have to put them at the beginning of my day, because if I wait till the end, it will most likely not get done. I will wait and I'll say, oh, I'll just do it later. And by the end of the day, I'm tired or things have come up. So step one, create that yearly goal that it is okay if it changes and morphs throughout the year. We morph throughout the year. Let that goal morph and change throughout the year. Break it down even smaller. Break it into your monthly goal. So to get that yearly goal, what do you have to do each month to reach that? Break it into weeklies. Drop it even lower. And like it was for my book, drop it into daily. What are you doing each and every day? This book right here is something that I have to do every day. My next one, I'm going to choose, my plan is 3 days a week reading instead of 7 days, instead of 19 days straight. It's a little intense for me, and I know it's going to be. So I know my second one, I'm going to alter to something that is going to be more feasible. But there's a deadline and I have to do it. Putting it on that calendar so that you see it, and knowing that once it is on the calendar, it cannot be deleted. It cannot be erased. Write it in pen if you are a pen and paper type of person, and highlight it, color it, do something so you know it is for you and that is your color only. Because when you see something for you on your calendar, that should be the first thing you do that day. It should be your first priority to make sure that that gets done in the busy day, because you come first. And when we are looking at these goals, like I mentioned before, I want you guys to, if you want help going through this, just drop goal in the comments and we will do a one-on-one goal setting call. We will go through this exactly how I just showed you with your goals. Or if you've done this throughout this activity and you want to screenshot it or send it to me, I'm more than happy to go through it and help see, are there any missing pieces? Do you need something else in there to make it more actionable? We can talk about doing stuff all the time, but what are we going to do behind the scenes to actually get to that big goal? So Danielle, if you are still there on Facebook, drop your insights or takeaways in the comments. So what did you get out of today's call? And Lynn, I know you are driving. So when you go back and you watch this replay, drop those in the comments as well. And Jennifer, if you don't mind dropping in the chat what you got out of this call today. The one thing that I love about this, that has made this so successful for me, is the permission to change and alter the goal month after month, week after week, day after day, really, to get to that end goal. It's not anything that's a strict line. It can be flexible. We have to be flexible in life. And with our goals, I found I was always like, I have to do this. And it led to it not being enjoyable. This flexibility that I give myself by doing it this way allows me to look forward to it. Looks forward to me every single day, being like, yes, I get to work out, because it gets me to that big goal of 156 in the year. So with that being the case, I want you guys to think, do you love the flexibility of goals like this? Or would you prefer something more strict, something more rigid? We got some people typing. So as we wrap up here, and we got some people typing still, I want to let you guys know that next week is a movement workshop and you will see me in Florida. So with that being the case, we're going to do just kind of body weight stuff. We will not need any equipment. I'm not going to do anything crazy with equipment. I haven't exactly decided what we're going to do yet. So if you guys have something in mind that you're like, I've been really wanting to do this as a movement workshop, shoot me a message. Let me know. I will teach on it. If not, I have a list of a few things that I'm just going to pull from, but we will have a movement workshop next week. And then the following week, we will go back to some mental fitness, some nutrition, some goals, some habits, some sort of work within that mental fitness realm. In addition, we have classes, live group fitness classes, 3 times a week for the whole month of January. And starting next week, I have 2 things that are launching. If you are interested in hearing what I am launching next week and that start next week to help you stay on track with these goals, to stay accountable all year long, and you want to know more, just drop accountable in the comments below, and I will make sure to reach out to you and I'll share the details with you. So let me make sure. We have Heather. Yes, hello, Heather on Facebook. In the past, I've done more rigid goal setting, but I think the flexible schedule would work out better for me. Yes, yay, I'm excited. If you want help setting up that flexible goal, let me know. I would love to jump on a call and get you set up for that. Because when we go from one thing that we've been so used to going to something else, it can be uncomfortable, it can be weird. So Jennifer's takeaway is, I took away goals are more likely to be accomplished if they are written down, scheduled in. I need help with color coding a calendar. I have the calendar on my iPhone. A huge goal for the year is to be better at putting things on the calendar and planning ahead. Awesome. I will help you. I am not super familiar with Apple Calendar, but I can help you out with that. So I'll send you a message and we can get some of that on the calendar and get the color coding down. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys need anything, if you want one-on-one goal setting before the end of the week or even early next week, drop goal. And if you want to learn about the 2 things that I'm launching on Monday to help you have accountability all year long and to reach these goals, drop accountability in the comments. Have a fantastic Thursday, and I will see you guys next Thursday at noon.